The Local Show, sponsored by Victory in Motion, home of knee repair, not knee replacement, on News Radio 570 WSYR, on 106.9 FM, and live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. The Local Show features in-depth conversation with business owners, employees, and influential business leaders throughout Central New York, exploring their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in our growing community. The Local Show is produced locally by Zoe Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
The Local Show with Tom and Steve is on your radio or your device or whatever you're listening on at this point. We enjoy having you here, and we enjoy bringing you local businesses and telling you their story, why they're here. Maybe they have a deep family, what am I looking for?
Roots.
Yeah,
Roots.
Just like Jane Sankey with CNY, Sankey CNY.
Or Abel, all these people have roots up here now.
Right. Well, a lot of the smaller businesses doing business and surviving, and things changing, of course. Commerce hopefully getting better in our area. Certainly, there's going to be enough roads to get to different places.
Yes. Well, and a few construction sites to navigate, Tom.
Yeah, good golly. Cicero has not gotten any better. I was going to say.
Is their bridge done yet?
No, the bridge isn't done. Kelly tells me maybe end of October, November, that's supposed to be done.
You still have to go through Boston to get to Syracuse, right? You got to go all the way around.
And then over by Thompson Road and the Cicero Fire Department and all that, they're doing a roundabout. So, and it's a beautiful roundabout. It's huge. I don't know. Let's talk to Joe Stanley. He's the founding partner of Stanley Law Offices. And Joe, what do you think about roundabouts?
I think roundabouts are great, but people need to learn how to drive.
Use them.
They need to get trained. They have no clue.
No. Really how do you use them?
Well, no, they're pretty easy to use. And, I discovered that when I went to Europe about 10 years ago, they were starting to put these in place because they're far more efficient than traffic lights, and the traffic goes a lot
Why
better.
are they? I don't get it.
Because you don't have, people are constantly going. If you follow the rules, you're constantly moving. The problem is that if people, just like anything else, if they don't know how to drive, they're going to hold up the process. Yeah. And the process is that you have the right of way in when you're in the circle, and you yield and go, but you go as soon as there's an opening, and not,
I see.
You don't wait till you see cars.
So what if someone stops on a yield abruptly and Tom back ends them? It was a yield. Whose fault is that?
It's your fault.
Oh, just checking.
You have to assume that people don't know what they're doing. And we talked about this before, but I think that people need to pass a driver's test by going on a roundabout and driving on a highway, which neither one of those I think ever happened, especially the highway part. I don't know how you can get a driver's license and never drive on the highway, but it concerns me. But it also, I understand why, even though cars are a lot safer, the people are still getting hurt in car crashes because there's so many of them.
Yeah. So maybe they should have a sign on the roundabout that says, just keep moving, keep moving. Here's a yield, but keep moving.
Do you think people actually get signs?
I was wondering that too, Joe.
Signs? I don't believe they ever do. So.
No.
I thought of you. I passed a truck coming down from camp on Route 3, or 104.3. I think it was 3. Coming down, there was a big truck. And I only pass if I can see a very long way. It doesn't matter that I have to see a very long way. So here it comes. Okay, I passed the truck, and Judy looks at me. She goes, "I would never pass that truck." To which I said, "Good, dear. If you don't feel safe passing." But I thought of you, Joe's like, when you're passing, get the heck past them. Don't stay there. I thought of what you had said before, and it's so true.
Yes, well, whether you're on the highway or a 2-lane highway, passing trucks, being in the blind spot of a truck is never a good idea.
Right. How long has Stanley Law been around in business? Since
1999.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's quite a few years.
It is.
And
it seems like just yesterday.
Did you practice any other law before you got into this area of law?
Not really. No, I did. I did all personal injury related work. So it's similar. But so no, I started out at it and been doing it for now. It's like a long time.
So make a self-serving case here for me about why individuals should deal with a local organization, local people, versus the 1-800 call a lawyer thing that's far away. What are the advantages of dealing with someone that's local?
Well, first of all, the best advantage is to have lawyers that you are comfortable with, that are knowledgeable and are going to do a good job, and that they are accessible to you. And, that presents a question about, is it local or are they not local? Accessible to you means that you want to have somebody who's knowledgeable, skillful, who's accessible, meaning that they are local to you. So, and that's what we are. We've been around here a long time. We've been in upstate New York forever. We've had offices in Syracuse, Watertown, and Binghamton for forever.
Right.
And, we're part of that community. We have, Music for the Mission does events there. We have regular musical events there to help the people that are less fortunate in our communities. We've been there. We've been involved. We know the people, and, it's great. And so, and then there are other lawyers that are local. There's other lawyers that come in here and practice, and the only thing I can say is that you need to have somebody who who you are comfortable with, and who is skillful. And so I think we present all of those options, and you can make the choice. I always say you make the choice. I'm not going to, that's
right.
That's the sales pitch, but those are things you should be looking for.
Right. You've been kind of the face of Stanley Law, obviously your namesake as well. Do you ever get people who say, well, I want to do business with you, and then I hear you talk about the fearless, what do you call those?
The team?
The sisters.
Team.
Yeah.
The
Fallon
we have a
sisters.
workers' comp department,
Yeah.
and they have been doing that for a very long time. The Fallon, and Bigsby, those are three lawyers have been doing it almost as long as me, the workers' comp. And they do it, and I don't do that work. They are skilled at it. That's why we merged. We merged it because they are skilled. It was a service that was needed, and that has a very labor-intensive skill. You really talk about having to be someone you're comfortable with. That's like a lifelong relationship, your lawyer for workers' comp, because the way that process works, nothing's ever fast, and it's whether your injury is painful or not, the process is definitely going to be painful.
Oh, no.
And so I give them such credit, because they have to be the counselor part of the attorney and counselor law. For them, they're just incredible, because it is a life-changing experience for people who get hurt at work, and a lot of them are just living on the edge.
Gosh.
And when they're not able to bring in that income, and they're getting jerked around by the system, it is a very, very personal thing.
But the Fallon sisters are part of Stanley Law, right?
Yes, they're our workers' comp department.
Okay, that's
and so,
So people shouldn't feel uncomfortable. They're still doing business with Stanley Law.
All our lawyers that are there are skilled, and they are part of the process and understand part of how our philosophy is. That's why we brought them in. We brought them in because that was a need. Workers' compensation for a lot of our personal injury clients are people who get hurt on the job, and so it behooves someone who is hurt at work, who has a personal injury case, to have those brought together, because they are interrelated in a complex manner that is sometimes incomprehensible even to lawyers. Wow. How's that?
Yeah.
How's that? And sometimes to lawyers and judges, it's incomprehensible. And what's the best way for it to proceed is not readily apparent unless you have done this a whole lot of times.
Yeah.
StanleyLawOffices.com. Sounds like a great place to have a conversation. If you're ever hurt at work or this time of year, are there less accidents this time of year?
No.
Okay. No. Okay. So there's always accidents. 800-608 and a whole bunch of threes. 800-608-3333. Joe, thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure.